You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 11th of November. India not among countries anxious about US post-election, says Jaishankar. Deadly blast at Quetta Railway Station leaves 24 dead. And Lankan President Dissanayake promises firm stance on illegal fishing by Indian fishermen. And now for all the details. Despite global concerns over the recently concluded US presidential elections, India is confident over its ties with Washington, India's Foreign Affairs Minister S.Jaishankar said on Sunday. Jaishankar, while addressing an event in Mumbai, highlighted Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rapport with successive US presidents and said there's something natural in terms of how those relationships were forged. He emphasized that unlike many other countries, India is not anxious about the latest election outcome in which Republican candidate Donald Trump emerged victorious. Prime Minister Modi was among the first world leaders to congratulate the US president-elect soon after it was announced that Trump had defeated his Democratic rival Kamala Harris in this closely watched election. In a congratulatory message on X, the Prime Minister expressed his eagerness to renew collaboration and further strengthen the India-US partnership under Trump's presidency. Modi also urged the President-elect to foster global peace, stability and prosperity amidst ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and the Russia-Ukraine war.
Prime Minister was among the first 3 calls, I think, that President Trump took. And look, India, Prime Minister Modi has actually built rapport across multiple presidents. When he first came to DC, Obama was the president, then it was Trump, then it was Biden.
A search operation by security forces is underway in the Kishtwar region of India's Jammu and Kashmir to apprehend terrorists involved in the killing of 2 village defence guard members. In a statement, the Army's White Knight Corps reported that a joint operation was launched after receiving intelligence about the presence of terrorists in the area. Contact was established and a firefight ensued, the statement added. According to defence sources, additional reinforcements were sent to the encounter site as the situation remains tense. Army personnel identified as Naib Subedar Rakesh Kumar from the Para Special Forces was killed in action and 3 others were reportedly injured in the firefight. The operation was ongoing as of the latest reports. Services at Quetta Railway Station in Balochistan remained closed on Monday as security was tightened following a deadly blast over the weekend that killed 26 people and injured more than 40. The attack occurred on Saturday morning, which authorities say was aimed to target the Pakistan Army personnel from the Infantry School, with 16 soldiers among the dead. Quetta, the capital of Balochistan province, is grappling with the surge in strikes by separatist ethnic militants that has raised security concerns for projects aiming to develop the province's untapped mineral resources. The Saturday attack was claimed by Balochistan Liberation Army in a statement which emailed to news agency Reuters. The group seeks independence from Balochistan, a province of about 15 million people that borders Afghanistan to the north and Iran to the west. It is one of the biggest of several ethnic insurgent groups battling the government, saying it unfairly exploits the province's rich gas and mineral resources.
यहाँ पे धमाका हुआ, इससे बस मैं गुजर के गया था, 5-6 सेकंड गुजरे कि 8-10 कदम के फासले पर पीछे से ये ज़ोरदार धमाका हो गया, जिसमें मुझे भी छर्रे वगैरह लगे, कुछ निकाल दिए, कुछ अभी रहते, तो मैं भी ज़ख्मी हो गया। तो देखा आओ में लोगों का भगदड़, ये ऊपर से वो अंग्रेज़ दौर की छत वो सारी उड़ गई, फिर लोगों को ऐसे अपनी आंखों के सामने मरता हुआ देखा, बस नुकसान ख़ता हो गया, आंखों के आगे अंधेरा हो गया, तो मैं गिर गया। तो मुझे दोस्त थे मेरे एसटी थे, उन्होंने उठाया, मुझे इधर ट्रामा सेंटर में लिया।
कोयटा से जी मैं जाफराबाद जा रहा था, अपने पूरी फैमिली थी मेरे साथ, सामान वगैरह थे, हर चीज़ थे। जब धमाका हुआ सामान वगैरह सारे उधर हम लोगों ने छोड़ दिए, बस हम लोग अपने आप में लग गए, सारा खून हो गया प्लेटफार्म पे, ऊपर धमाका हुआ, खून से रंगीन हो गया। उसके बाद बस एम्बुलेंस आ गई, एम्बुलेंस में डाल के लोगों को लेके गए।
Afghan Taliban officials will attend a major United Nations climate conference that starts next week, the Afghan Foreign Ministry said on Sunday. Afghan Foreign Ministry spokesman Abdul Qahar Balkhi said officials from the National Environmental Protection Agency had arrived in Azerbaijan to attend the COP conference. The Taliban took over the agency when they returned to power as US-led forces withdrew. The COP29 climate summit in Azerbaijan's capital Baku will be among the highest-profile multilateral events attended by Taliban administration officials since they took control of Kabul. According to Reuters, the host Azerbaijan invited the Afghan Environment Agency officials to COP29 as observers, enabling them to potentially participate in periphery discussions and potentially hold bilateral meetings. Afghanistan is considered one of the countries worst affected by climate change. Flash floods have killed hundreds this year, and the heavily agricultural dependent country have suffered through one of the worst droughts in decades. Many subsistence farmers, who make up much of the population, face deepening food insecurity. Climate advocates have criticized international isolation of the Taliban and have said the seclusion only hurts the Afghan people. Thousands of supporters of Bangladesh BNP, one of the two main political parties, rallied in the capital Dhaka this past weekend, demanding ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trial and the holding of general elections by the interim government. Chanting slogans, BNP activists along with elite groups marched through the streets of Dhaka and demanded extradition of Hasina for facing trial in Bangladesh. The International Crimes Tribunal in Dhaka last month issued an arrest warrant for Hasina, citing her alleged involvement in mass killings during violent protests that erupted earlier this year. The protest, which began as a student-led movement against public sector job quotas, escalated into some of the deadliest unrest since the country's independence in 1971, resulting in over 700 deaths and numerous injuries. The violence ultimately forced Hasina to flee to India on August 5, and an interim government led by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Mohammad Yunus took charge.
এই যে খুনি হাসিনা গত 16 থেকে 17 বছর ধরে বাংলাদেশের যে গণতান্ত্রিক ব্যবস্থাকে ধ্বংস করেছে, তার বিপরীতে আমরা খুনি হাসিনার বিচার দাবি করছি এবং একই সাথে সাথে যে অন্তর্বর্তীকালীন সরকার এখন রাষ্ট্র ক্ষমতায় রয়েছে, আমরা বিশ্বাস করি তারা দ্রুত সময়ের মধ্যে একটি জনগণের সরকার প্রতিষ্ঠা করবে।
আসলাম আজকে এই কারণেই যে বর্তমান যিনি সাবেক যে সরকার ছিলেন, তিনি ছাত্রদের, মানুষের উপরে, ব্যবসার উপরে অনেক নির্যাতন অপব্যবস্থা চালাচ্ছিলেন। তার বিচার এই দেশে আইন না, সুন্দরভাবে যাতে নিরপেক্ষ বিচার হয় তার বিচার করতে হবে। এমনকি এই দেশের অবাধ সুষ্ঠু নিরপেক্ষ নির্বাচন সামনে যেন অনুষ্ঠিত হয়, সেই জন্য আমাদের আজকের কর্মসূচি দেওয়ার উদ্দেশ্য।
Sri Lankan President Anura Dissanayake vowed this past weekend to take a firm stance against Indian fishermen illegally fishing in Sri Lankan waters. In his first public address since assuming office, Dissanayake stated that Indian fishermen were depleting resources that belong to Sri Lanka and emphasized that his government would protect the rights of Sri Lankan fishermen by preventing further exploitation of marine resources. The president's remarks came after the Sri Lankan Navy arrested 23 Indian fishermen for allegedly fishing in Sri Lankan waters. With these latest arrests, Sri Lanka has detained over 480 Indian nationals this year for violating the international maritime boundary line between the two nations. The prolonged dispute over fishing rights has long been a source of tension between India and Sri Lanka, who share an expansive oceanic border with minimal demarcation. Fishermen from both sides often stray into each other's territory, frequently resulting in prolonged jail terms. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow.